On my Area 51 line, you're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome. Brandy is sick, as you can tell. She doesn't want to show her face, and I don't blame her.
It looks bad, I promise.
You don't look terrible.
I know, my picture looks great.
I know you do. Your picture does. It looks really good. Look, Paranormal Paul says, look, Brandy is looking through a porthole.
Porthole, yes. Thank you, Tex, for the porthole.
Yeah, Werewolf says, hey, Brandy voice.
Hey.
Hey.
I know, that even sounds sexy, don't it?
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I am so behind. So, guys, we had a quick meeting before the show, so I am still trying to get things done. But we do have our announcement to make. And Brandy, why don't you tell them that you're not about when you're going to cut out?
What? Say, huh?
Well, when you're going to cut out, you're not going to do the whole show.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, I am very sick, and instead of listening to me cough and hack and blow my nose and stuff, I'm not going to be hanging out the whole show. But with the announcement that we're going to make, we're waiting for a few more people to drift in right now. Mm-hmm. We're going to make this announcement, and it's big, it's huge, it's going to be fantastic. Everybody's going to love this. And I'm so excited about all the things that we're looking forward to and all the good things and the fun times that we're going to have. And we can't wait to share them all with you.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. I got my shares out, so I had to share the show out. Anyway, yes.
She's a little behind the times today.
I know. I'm running a little bit behind, but I was able to share it out on Facebook and do our thing. You know how we do that. So
Right.
Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. We appreciate it. Yes, Brandy also.
I was going to say, our Facebook, we still have our Facebook. We have now gone private with our Facebook. All the content is all still there. If you are a member of our Facebook, you are still in there. Everybody's great. It's just we're doing a little bit different now that we're not announcing everything to the public. Everything is going to stay private. Even our comments and things like that are going to stay private. That's way we can enjoy what's going on in there and not having people out there who are negative and awful and hateful getting in there and, just spreading just negativity. Let's just go with that. Just negativity. And right. So, hey, make sure you get out there and you join that Facebook group. We got a lot of things going on. We post shows, events. We've got memes in there. We've got interesting articles. There's all kinds of stuff in there, to look at. And Blondes and Booze, we're all into, the cryptid, alien, the paranormal, everything. So everything is also included in there. So get over there and just join the group.
Yes, absolutely. And we also, if you have a show, we also, we're all about unity and promoting other people. So we don't mind you all promoting your own shows on our Blondes and Booze Facebook either. So
exactly. And your events and stuff. Heck, some of that stuff I want to go to.
Right. Absolutely.
So make sure you're promoting your events.
Yeah.
Oh, look at there. Aaron.
Aaron, I love you. I miss you.
Love you. Yes. $10. Woo, woo. Loving it.
Yeah.
Hey.
So
that's for my next roll of toilet paper. That's my fancy Kleenex.
Poor Brandy. I was sick last week. Brandy's sick this week. It just keeps going on around and around and around.
I know, and I am not shaking it. I am definitely not shaking it at all.
So do we want to make the announcement so we can get on with this freaking show?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm
Okay.
excited.
All right. So Brandy, you know what? Since you're in such a talking mood, I'll just let you tell everybody.
All right. So Krista and I have decided that we were going to take Blondes and Booze in a new direction. We have done this show for several years now, and we have enjoyed doing it together, but it's now time to grow. So without further ado, we have now enlisted the help of our new Blondes and Booze. That will be Natalie Smearman. I can't even say that. Say it for me.
Natalie Smearman.
Thank you. I can't say it with a plugged up nose. There she goes. Look at her, how beautiful she is. And Mary Lynn Bast from Pair with the Norm, Losco Productions. There she is. That is our new Blondes and Booze. So you get to have 4 beautiful blondes every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. So keep tuning in. This way, we're going to get more content from more different, from different locations, and be able to expand everything and experience more to bring all of our evidence and everything to you. And we have so much to talk about. It's fantastic. So if you've watched the show before, and of course, most of you have, but if you're just tuning in, we are the Tattoo Quadruplets. We all have the same tattoo now. And this whole thing was born in the tattoo shop. Yes, everything that is spawning now has actually came to fruition in a tattoo shop. I can think of worse places. Yeah, I can think of worse places.
Yeah. Thanks to Mary Lynn. She's the one that started this.
She's the one that started this. And, and we do have a lot to thank to Mary Lynn, because, she had great ideas and she brought it up, and we're just like, yeah. So we will be going under construction, I'm going to say, on our site. We're going through a rebranding time from here until probably the first of the year. We will have a new and improved logo. We're dropping the Paranormal Podcast because we are more than just the paranormal. Of course, everybody knows that. Right. And we're no longer a podcast. So we're YouTube on top of all of this, and many more things to come. So we just wanted to expand. We wanted to bring people on and grow our channel and just have a really good time. So I'm super excited what the future holds, especially in 2026. It's going to be a great year for all of us.
Yep. There's a question here. Werewolf asked, what about 4 Blondes? Let's go ahead and answer that one.
Okay. The 4 Blondes channel will stay up for now. It will no longer have the 4 Blondes on there anymore.
No more 4 Blondes live shows.
Right. Love the tattoo booze. There we go. Thank you, Brian. We love you. And so we're going to stop that because we were having trouble and people were getting confused between Blondes and Booze and the 4 Blondes. So we decided, hey, why don't we just come together, form a company with the 4 of us as the new Blondes and Booze. No more Paranormal Podcast. And that's where we're going. So you can still watch the shows from there. And we are going to be bringing the shows from the 4 Blondes channel over to Blondes and Booze. If they are not there now, they will be. So
Brandy
we'll have all
that.
Yeah. So we'll have all of that available to you, which, we always have fantastic shows over there. It's always a lot of fun. And we're just going to bring the fun to this channel. Hey.
Yeah. So actually we are missing a blonde. And let me tell you, so Natalie had every intention of being on here tonight. And she did say that we can announce that her daughter is getting an NG tube, or she got an NG tube today, and she's in the hospital. Right. So you know what? It's always family first with us. And so we are missing Natalie tonight. But please say some prayers for Natalie's daughter and Natalie herself. And we'd appreciate that. And then also Tex asked if we would ask y'all to say prayers. Anita from the Alabama Bigfoot Conference, her mom.
Yeah, Anita Collier. Yes.
isn't doing well, and if y'all could send prayers her way too.
Yeah,
So Natalie,
I believe she fell down and broke her hip.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something horrible, you know, and
Yeah.
as we know, because I mean, we're in the 50s and up club, everyone, just to let you know. I mean, because there's some people out there that say we never say how old we are. We're all over 50. Love it.
Yeah. Well,
Love
I'll be
it.
honest with you. I'll be 54 tomorrow.
I know. I'm so excited. We'll celebrate when I get to see you next time.
So you're a Sagittarius?
I'm a Scorpio.
You're right on the cusp.
I am on the very last day of the Scorpio.
So mine's on the 20th of December.
Ah.
Oh, see, that's what's wrong with you guys. That's what it is.
Yeah.
See, my mother, her birthday's on December 25th. So, you know, she's a Capricorn, of course. And so she's right on that cusp too. She's right there. So I'm like, and we'll talk about this on a different show because, you know, I think there's a lot in birth dates and where we fall in that astrology line. You know what I mean? Because I think that a lot of us that fall on the cusp, I don't know. I could say we have multiple personalities. You know? It depends on what day you catch us. Yeah, it depends on what day you catch us. Like my daughter, she's right between. She's a Gemini, but she's right on the Cancer cusp. But you can notice the total traits between the two sometimes, and I'm like, oh, okay.
But, you know, it matters where all the houses are, and even the moon. So for me, it's the moon is in Cancer for me. So I'm Sagittarius with the Cancer rising and all that. So it gets all messed up sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I'm a straight up water girl. I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm a straight up water girl. I'm a moon girl. There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Yes. Okay, I guess. Go ahead, Brandy. I was just going to say, let's just get the show rolling.
Yeah, and I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going back to bed, y'all. Because as we said earlier, I can be sick, but my bills don't get sick. So I do have to go to work tomorrow. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate everybody being here, and we look forward to everything in the future. And like I said, we just appreciate you all. So with that, good night, everybody.
See you, Brandy. All right. So now that we got all the good stuff out of the way, we have a guest backstage. He's a friend. His name is House, and he's got some really cool paranormal encounters. So I'm just going to bring him up.
Hey guys, how you all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for having me on the show. I'm delighted to be here. Go Blondes and Booze, and ecstatic about your new announcement. I think it's a great it's a great path forward.
I think so too. Honestly, I do, because here's the thing: like, all four of us do different things, and we all bring something different to the table, and so it's only going to get bigger and better.
Absolutely, and I hope Brandy starts feeling better.
Me too, because
Natalie with what she's got going on with her daughter. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's sad, and especially when kids are in the hospital. I hate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we always say family first, and she messaged us tonight, and it is what it is, and she said we could announce it, and so we did, and I said a prayer for her daughter.
Cool.
Yeah. So I know you have.
I know you. No.
You have told me some of your encounters.
Okay.
And
I have.
Let's go back to the beginning. How did you get started in this weird, crazy paranormal thing?
Well, it wasn't by choice. Honestly, I was born, as so many of us were. I was born different. I was at a very young age. I had trouble sleeping as a baby, and I'll tell you something I did not tell you that's very interesting. I remember, as far as memory goes, and many people like us have these memories and don't understand them. I remember what it felt like to be born. I can tell you the color of my labor and delivery room. It was mint green. I can tell you what it smelled like, how cold it was, how painful it was to have all these experiences. And I didn't understand this growing up. And as I became older, it started to make sense that being born is actually it's a trauma event.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you take that with you, and it causes all different manner of actions and happenings, and it can actually formulate whether or not you have the ability to see things that other people cannot see and experience things that other people. And I'm not saying that it works that way with everybody, but that's kind of how it worked for me. I was just born this way. And I've had experiences my entire life. I have experiences still today.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other things, I always would wake up, and it was this is a daily thing, and it even happens still today, not as frequently, but it still happens. I wake up and I have some knowledge that I cannot explain how I have this knowledge, but it's there, and at some point in my life I will use it. It will come into play. It always has.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I know that was probably going around my elbow to get someplace else, but that was the answer to that question. I think I answered that question.
No, you did fine. Real quick, Ken is in chat. He was at the conference and met all of us. And I was texting with him last night, and I totally cut him off. My apologies. I had to do a Paranormal Paul's show. So my apologies. I will text you back this evening. So I didn't mean to do that. So
Okay.
I just wanted to announce that really quick to him. Okay. So then all of that, then what happened that you were like, okay, I've got something going on here?
Well, okay. So the most prevalent thing that actually jerked me onto the path, when I was five years old, I actually lived in a haunted house. I mean, this house was so haunted that at 5 years old, in the entire house, the interior of the house was painted battleship gray, and the reason why it was haunted is because the individuals that lived there, the husband came home from work one day, and he had lost his job, and he did not have a way to support his family. So his solution was to kill everybody in the living room.
Jesus.
And he butchered everybody with a weapon in the living room. And there was the state of sounding too graphic, and you can check me if I get there was blood splattered all over the living room, and it was so bad that it actually got into the bedrooms. So they painted the entire interior of the house battleship gray. And me as having the ability to see beyond the multitude of spectrums and planes of existence that exist, I could actually see the blood come through the paint.
Wow.
And at one point, it did come through the paint. It actually physically came through, and we had to repaint the living room.
Really? Did it?
Yeah.
Did the paint cover the blood then?
Yeah, they weren't able to get the stains off of the wall. They could not. They could not get the stains off the wall. And it one time it physically came through, and I mean it ran as it had just happened. It ran down the wall.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
So and that was a physical manifestation, and I wasn't the only one who's seen it. So,
right.
But I mean, I could go in any room, and I could see the splatters, and I could feel the presence of the wife and the kid and the husband that were still manifesting the house.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I would be laying in my bed at 5 years old, and I'd have the covers pulled up over my nose, and I'd be staring at my door face, and there would be a shadow figure, a full embodiment of a shadow leaning up against the wall, staring at me, looking directly at me.
Wow. Thank you, werewolf. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Honestly, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it was insane. It was, it was so traumatizing for me that I was literally afraid to take a bath.
Oh,
I was like, I had to have a parental figure in the bath because I didn't want to go anywhere in by myself at that house. Now, one of the more, and if I'm talking too fast, let me know. One of the more comedic things that happened, because sometimes there was some comedy and some that involved in that. One of my jobs was to collect the Coke bottles or the soda bottles, because you got the nickel back when you took them back to the store. And that, yes, that's exactly how old I am. I am that old. Right. For those of us who remember that. So you can get, my job was to stack the soda bottles neatly by the refrigerator. And I remember doing it, and I got an allowance for that. Okay. I got to keep half the money. And, so I would stack the soda bottles. Well, I got in trouble because the soda bottles were not stacked. They were like all over everywhere, and I had just stacked them. Gotcha. So they like, and I was told to get in there and restack the soda bottles. So I did. I restacked the soda bottles and put them on. And sure enough, maybe 10, 15 minutes later, and I go back and watch cartoons. I think I was watching Scooby-Doo at the time or something like that, whatever it was. And I got trouble again. So so we told you to stack the soda bottles. So I was like, I did stack the soda bottles. And so they watched me, my parents watched me stack the soda bottles. Mm-hmm. And so I went back and started watching television, and my dad had come back in and said, "So you think you're funny?" And I was like, "No, I don't know." So we went back in the kitchen, and the soda bottles were turned on their nose and stacked into triangle.
Oh wow! Damn, that's crazy.
And I was like, "I didn't do that. Right? I'm 5. How am I? I didn't do that." Mm-hmm. But and it was a curious geometric shape, because over the years the triangle became an important symbol for me in my path of discovering who and what it is that I am. Right.
And you and I have talked extensively on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
We have. So, okay, I want to fast forward, because that encounter that you told me about driving down the highway with the car, you got to tell that. You got to tell that story.
Okay, so I have 2 encounters, and you'll refresh my memory. Actually, I don't have 2 encounters. I actually have 3 encounters with the car. Are you talking about the one where I lost?
Where you had to walk back to that place, and then that guy gave you a ride?
Oh, you're talking about Extraterrestrial Highway.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, hold on, because this one's gonna get nuts. Okay, so I have three events that actually happened with the car, but this one in particular, I have still yet to be able to explain what and how it happened. And it's still kind of foggy because I don't remember the actual timeline of the events. It's like it happened to me, but some of the pieces are missing. So, yeah, we'll just go with that. So, people who know the Extraterrestrial Highway, I was still in the military at this time, and me and a few guys got together, and we had all gotten 30 days leave because we just come off of a deployment. So we loaded up, and I had this it was 1974, 1975 Pontiac Catalina, and it was brown. It was like dirt brown, and it was like it was so big that you could fit half of Rhode Island in this car. Okay, it's just huge. So a bunch of guys got in. We loaded the trunk down with beer and different adult beverages and things of that nature. And we decided we were going to go on this whirlwind tour and just go see what kind of shenanigans we could get in. And by and by, we wound up on the Extraterrestrial Highway. Okay, so we're driving, and we decided we were going to go and visit the Extraterrestrial Cafe out there. And we did. We went out there, and we met a bunch of people, and we met the woman's name, for the life of me, I want to say it started with an M, Maggie, Marge, Mary, or something. I don't even remember what her name is. And I've got a real vague picture of her face, but it's not clear. So I apologize for that. So we went out there, and you got these group of guys, military age guys out there. When we're snooping around the store and we're asking questions and picking up souvenirs and doing the things that we do at the time. So we had food, and I believe that I had like a hamburger or something like that. But so it was become time to go. So we got back in the car and we drove, and I was driving, and we drove, and we were driving for about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, and we hit a cow. This cow came out of nowhere, and we hit this cow, and it trashed the car. There was blood. Every one of us had blood on our clothes. I was covered in it. Mm-hmm. And the car just careened off the side of the road, and I went down into this like this ditch in the desert and stuff like that. So we're all out. We're all freaking out, and I'm not promoting this, but it's part of the story. There may not have been alcohol involved in this. Okay. So we're all getting together. We're like freaking out, trying to put our heads together, and we can't start the car because the car's got smoke coming out of it, and there's blood all over the place, and there's a dead cow drove halfway across the road, and there's blood everywhere. So we decided we're gonna suck it up, and we're gonna walk back. Mm-hmm. Because we're in the middle. We're in the middle of a highway in the middle of a desert. So we have to walk back, and we know we've got a heck of a walk because we've been driving for almost 2 hours.
Sure.
So we start walking back, and we started seeing lights. And we weren't really, I wasn't being particularly conscious at the time as it passed, because we were, like I said, we're freaking out and everything like that. But I knew in the back of my head that we should not be seeing lights this soon, because we're driving, and we were driving 2 hours or a little bit more. We haven't been walking that long, maybe a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, and we're already seeing lights. So we're all, we all get to we all get to the cafe, and we tell the story, and yada yada yada, and we're kind of getting looked at like we're nuts and things of that nature. So I'm like, well, can we go back and get the car? Because and I forgot to mention that we didn't. It was just me. It was me and another person. We didn't take all the people with her. We had the other guys that stayed. Okay. Right. So we said, well, can we go back? We got other guys we need to pick up back at the car, and the we'll just call her the proprietor of the cafe because I can't remember her name. Said, well, yeah, we've got a tow truck handy on a mechanic and a tow truck handy. So anyway, we piled in this truck and this tow truck, and we're going to have the car towed back to the shop. And we're driving down there, and we were on the road because I became conscious of the time, because I noticed the clock on the wall and the clock in the restaurant, and it didn't make any sense to me. So I started becoming conscious of the time. Mm-hmm. And we drove for about 20 minutes, and we're telling the story to the driver, and he's really not saying a lot. And we get to the car, and my car is running with the lights on, parked in the desert, in the sand, sideways. And there's no blood on us. There's no cow. The car's in complete tact, and we drove 20 minutes to get to my car.
It's crazy.
So he finally said, and I've started rapid fire asking questions. How is this possible? Yada yada yada. Because I start thinking, well, I'm, am I crazy? And he looks at me with a grin, and he says, yeah. He goes, time moves kind of differently out here.
Mm-hmm.
So something that the bottom line of the story, in the bottom line on the story is, we were driving for 2 hours. It took us a little bit over 45 minutes to walk back to the store, back to this restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But it only took 20 minutes to get to my car, which was completely intact. And when I left that car, it was trashed.
Oh.
And there was a dead cow, and I was covered in cow blood.
And you didn't even notice like the blood.
No, I had no clue. And when I got to the thing about it is, when I got to the restaurant, when we got to the restaurant at the beginning, there was nothing on me. There was nothing, and I didn't even know.
Wow. That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, do you think like it was an alien type thing involved, or the guy that drove you back, maybe he was an alien or something like that? What do you think?
That had actually crossed my, and that's a very good question, because that had actually crossed my mind. Because to me, the guy, and I even got his name, but I can't remember. There's so many pieces of this that I can't recall.
Right.
And it's like, why we got there, why we picked that spot in the first place. I have no recall. I don't know. So the answer to your question is that came to my mind because he was not surprised by any of this. It's like he knew what was going to happen.
Thank you, bad to the bone.
He was just stoic.
Mm-hmm.
He was just completely stoic on the whole thing. It was like he was unaffected or unmoved by everything that was going on. But he didn't let on that I wasn't sitting there leaking blood all over the place.
Right.
He didn't give me a realization. I had to discover all this thing myself. Right. And the thing that it always confused me is that during the whole time, my buddy was with me, and he was covered. He had blood all over him, and he seen the same thing on me.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't really there.
Wow. What Terry Mosby, our friend, she asked, what did the other two guys say that stayed at the car?
When we picked them up, they were dumbfounded by how we got back so quickly. We were all questioning our sanity. It's like, how is this happening? We drove this long. You guys made it back to the restaurant in less than an hour, and then you're back here within like less than 2 hours. You're back. How is that possible? We were all questioning our sanity.
So my question though is, if they were at the car and it was messed up, and what changed for them that it was not messed up anymore if they were waiting by the car?
Well, that's a very, very good question. It's like our whole reality just shifted.
So because they knew that they were in the wreck with you or hit the cow, and all of a sudden it just changes.
Yes, our reality completely just shifted.
So it's almost like you went into another realm.
I'm sorry?
It's almost like you went into another realm, or
and that's what I honestly, that's a very good statement, Marilyn, because that's exactly what I think happened. I think we crossed thresholds.
Yep.
Wow.
I think there's several time dividers, and I think we crossed into multiple time dividers. I really, really do.
Well, and I think even as, you're a psychic as well. So as psychics, we can see across those realms. And for me, I can see portals and things like that. And it's something that when you cross over, sometimes you don't realize you have crossed over until something like this happens. So sometimes it takes, and you were absolutely correct. Sometimes it takes you minutes to actually determine, because time moves differently in where you crossed. Right.
And sometimes you cross, but then it takes your being moments to catch up with yourself.
Right.
Gotcha.
And
Wow.
it was, for me, it's like you were not supposed to get that cow. So in that other realm, they set it back to where it was supposed to be.
Exactly. And and I have pondered over this for years and years. And honestly, it's the conclusion that I came to, that's the only thing that made any kind of psychological sense.
Right.
Is that we shifted time, and eventually time caught up with us, or we caught up with our own time that we were currently in, and the events transpired differently.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe instead of catching up with the time, you actually crossed through that realm again to where you were supposed to be. So you may have crossed into it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Or multiple times. Who knows? Who knows?
Right.
But I know that when we got to the restaurant, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, Krista. I know that we got at the restaurant, that there was the clocks were wrong, hours wrong.
So you lost
because
time.
in my reality, it should have been much later than what it actually was.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. You told me that story the other day, and like, I don't know, like, where did the cow go? How did the car get fixed? The guys that were at the car, like, did it just pop and like it's fixed? Or you know what I'm saying? There's just so many unanswered questions that none of us can answer.
And if you recall, I probably told that story differently to you than I just told it right now, because, like I said, the congruencies are all they shuffle in my head.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a moment though that I will take with me for the entirety of my existence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll never really have a true answer to it either.
No.
So
Never. No.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Our
Exactly
good
right.
friend Brian says you jumped in and out of timelines.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. And then that's what I truly believe. He's exactly right.
The timelines and the realms are kind of the same when you're looking at those. Yeah.
They overlap. If you and here there's a simple explanation to this. And they didn't really become congruent to reality until we started messing around with the nuclear clocks, and how a nuclear clock can be set in different positions in the world and not supposed to be able to be tampered with, but time affects them, and they don't show the same congruent time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
You know, and then people say that light can't bend. Well, but it does bend.
Does it bend, or does it just reflect off of something else and go at another angle?
Because time is not a congruent thing, and time is based on a curvature. Light bends.
Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Wow, interesting. All right, let's go to the dark stuff. Let's talk about some of your encounters with that kind of stuff.
Okay, I will start it off by something that I've read about that completely shocked me, and then I'll end it with something that I actually witnessed. How's that? Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. So back in the very early 80s, I had read a newspaper article about an individual that was in, I believe it was Canton, Ohio. He was a devout Christian, and he was in the seminary. He was training to become a priest, and he started to question his faith. And I years of research that I did about the time that you're supposed to make your transition to becoming a full priest. That entire year, it's very common, I had learned, for the priests to start questioning your faith, to be tempted by all manner of different things, and a lot of them question their faith, and some of them fall out. Okay, so I've talked to like different priests and things of that nature, and they said yes, this during that last year of seminary school, it's very common for almost everybody to question their faith and be challenged. This individual had questioned his faith and he was consulting with a very good friend of his, another female, that was a psychic counselor. She was a paranormalist like us, and they were good friends, and they had talked and discussed different things. She questioned him whether it was the right path for her. She didn't think it was the right path for him. And I'm reading the article, and it's her account of actually what happened. He had made the decision after questioning for months whether or not he was going to continue. He made the decision that he was going to go forth and become a priest, but not before he had challenged and flirted with the aspect of the darker realms. And I can tell you, as being a person who has physically walked in those darker realms and that deals in those realms, flirting is not something that you do.
Right.
If you're going to do it, you do it with the open mind that when you look in, and specifically when you go in, you take it back out with you. And if you see it, it sees you. And you stay seen. If you become aware of whatever, it becomes aware of you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Essentially, like kind of marked.
Yeah, it's not kind of, you are marked.
Right.
Okay. And it's not, and I'm not talking about souls or anything like that. It's a genetic mark. It embodies who you are. And he played in that realm for a while before he made the decision. And I believe, my personal belief is that he got involved in some stuff and it scared him. So he ran for the safety of God and religion. Well, his friend and the seminary school, he did not show up for his final day. He never showed. He didn't call, and he was absent for classes, and he had not been in contact with his friends. And she actually started making calls and got no response from him. Well, she called the law enforcement and had them do a health and
wellness check.
Yeah, a health and wellness check. And they got to his house and they knocked on the door and everything, and they didn't get any response, but there was a smell. And that warranted them entering the house. That was probable cause, so they entered the house. So they entered the house, and the house was pretty much in normal living mode. But they followed the smell, and they followed the smell into his bedroom. Well, in the bedroom, and there were photographs of this. His bed is mounted into the ceiling. It's actually stuck to the ceiling. And when they called the fire department out there, and they pried the bed out of the ceiling, and you got the holes in the wall where the posts had embedded themselves into the ceiling. You have the imprint of the bed. You have the imprint of the pillows. You have an imprint of a body, but there's no body. The body was never recovered.
So what was creating the smell?
Exactly. There was no blood. There was no body. And his body was never recovered.
That's crazy.
But the smell of death was all over the house.
Wow, I don't even how do you explain that? What would law enforcement, or you know what I'm saying? How would they explain that?
It was labeled death by misadventure. I mean, there was eventually a death certificate that was issued. But death by misadventure is what they generally call anything that they can't really explain. They call it death by misadventure.
Wow.
And
Was there like a search that went on looking for the body, or
he was listed as a missing person for months, and I think maybe even a couple of years.
yeah.
And eventually they issued a death certificate, and it was done by it was listed as death by misadventure. I remember reading that because I was curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Said I've never heard that term
Either.
Yeah. It is. And it's kind of funny thing about when I was younger, I wanted to be two things when I was growing up. My first thing I wanted to be a Willy Wonka. Okay. and then as I got older, I wanted to be a mortician and eventually become an ME. So I started studying and doing all that. And unfortunately, I never became. I couldn't get into the whole mortuary thing because you have to be a family member, and there was just a lot of different politicking that I wasn't involved in. But those are the two things that I wanted to do. So I learned a lot of the different clauses, terminologies, and things of that nature of that particular venture. And remember, we're going back to say when you look in the abyss looks back.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things come out with you. Sometimes they attach themselves to you, or they become you.
Right. That's true.
So.
Wow.
Well, that's where
So
anytime you're dealing with stuff like that, it's something you've got to know what you're dealing with, because if you don't close those properly, you're allowing things to come through. That's like working with the Ouija board, spirit board. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
Don't do it.
No,
Right.
because you actually become the portal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, it's very hard to close it off.
Yes.
Yeah. I just my feelings on Ouija board, and everybody knows this. I feel like it's a tool.
It is.
As with any tool, if you don't know how to use it, don't freaking use it.
Yep.
And so I feel like even using like paranormal equipment, it's a tool. So there's not a whole lot of difference there to me, because you're still opening up doors. You know what I'm saying? You just got to
honestly don't know who you're communicating with when you're talking through those equipment, unless you know for sure 100%. And how can you know that 100%?
Exactly.
Sure.
Bingo.
That's exactly perfect. It's exactly 100% correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because whose energy is going through the machines is making the machinery work? Whose energy?
Yours.
It's yours.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're giving your energy, you're giving a piece of yourself.
Absolutely.
You're doing that. Anybody that's with you, they're drawing that energy as well.
Absolutely. Yep. And what does energy have? A scent.
Mm-hmm.
A detailed DNA marker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not only yours, but for every generation up to you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that also leads to the ones that come after you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
You can have generational, and it continues on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've done a lot of private cases in my time. And, I've done several because of the Ouija board, and people don't know how to use them properly or close them. And, and most of the time it's been brought in by kids, it's the teenage kids that playing around with it. And
when I got my first,
I'm not gonna lie, I did when I was a kid, we all did, and I think we were just fortunate.
Yeah. And I think you really don't even have to have a Ouija board itself. You can write something on a napkin and turn that into, it's all in your intent and how you're using it and what you're wanting to get out of it. So, and most of the time when you're playing, they're not really making that connection unless they do have something like they posted in the chat, the lights blew out.
Yeah.
I had a Ouija board and I literally know how to use it, but a friend of mine, I think I was in my early 20s, she asked me if she could borrow it. And I'm like, sure. So we literally picked it up and put it in the trunk of her car. She got home and it was no longer in the trunk of her car. It was back in my closet where I kept it.
Yes.
It was not supposed to go with her. So it's nope.
Yeah. And that is not an uncommon happening.
Yeah.
It's happened more than once. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually did a talk. It was via phone. A private case that police officer friend had reached out to me, and he had a fellow officer who I believe it was Halloween night, and she had this dark entity into her bedroom. And so, I'm like, well, let's talk about this. Let's figure out what it is. And they're in South Carolina and I'm here, And so I was talking to him, and then she mentions to me, oh yeah, me and another whole officer, we were playing around with the Ouija board that night. And I'm like, bingo. And on top of it, she was carrying the Ouija board around in the trunk of the freaking cop car.
Oh no. So she was keeping that connection open.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And so, and so then my friend who had, connected me to her, I told him, I was like, this sounds freaking crazy, but you got to cleanse that freaking cop car. You don't leave that juju in there. You got to cleanse that cop car before anybody drives it.
And cleanse yourself.
And yeah. And
anybody who's been in it, look at the people who, if they arrested somebody, they're just putting into the jail.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're carrying around in the trunk of a police car?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. And they did. I know they did get rid of the board. So, and then I don't believe she had any other.
How did they dispose of it? Because there's special ways to dispose of them too. You can't just throw it in the trash.
No, I told her to bury it and put salt on it.
Okay.
Hallowed earth, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Something I want to say in reference to anything dealing with playing or entertaining, moving around in the darker aspects. Somebody had told me this at a very young age, and it always stuck with me, made sense, and allowed me to draw back on this and actually protect myself. Mm-hmm. Words have power. Yep. Thoughts have power, but they have more power when they are put into words. Because you think about words, when you put them down on paper, what do they call it? Spelling. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a complete circle.
Right.
Do not play in the dark realm if you are not absolutely knowledgeable what it is that of what you're doing and have a purpose.
Amen. Yep.
Because the dark realms are divided into realms and into planes. And there are voids in between each of these planes. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to get trapped in them.
Oh, yeah. So, and that's where you're looking at also kind of putting that with astro traveling. So when you're astro traveling, you're going through those different planes, you're going through those different realms. And I tell everybody, you have to be tethered. For me, I always know that it's a visual. I have a doorknob that's right there. Sure. All I have to do is turn the doorknob and I'm back where I need to be. If you don't, sure, you can get lost. You can go into those voids. Sure. And that's where people lose their mind. If, it's like, what's happening to me? I can't remember anything. It's just, what's going on? Well, what were you doing?
Yep. I lost 3 years of my life memory because of that very thing.
Yep.
Wow.
It does happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yep. So that's my whole point for bringing that up. And that's very, very good, Mary. Very, very, very astute thinking, Mary Glenn. Very Glenn.
Yeah. So, and like I said, for me, it's the door. I use the door handle, and other people, they use a window. Other people use stairs. For me, it's that doorknob. It's just easy to grab a hold of, and it's always right there with me. I can travel for hours and hours, but it's right there. It never goes away, and I can enter and I can leave anytime I want to. Mm-hmm. I'm in control, and that's the biggest thing. If you're not in control, that's where you're going to get lost.
Correct.
And here's the thing, you mentioned about being in control. Anytime you do anything, any paranormal activity, you channel the dead, whatever you do, you have to be the boss. You have to be in control, because once you lose control, you're effed.
Yep. Well, and that doesn't mean you're not going to get emotional. That doesn't mean you're not going to have those feelings at other people, but it's also knowing that you're controlling what's around you and what's allowed to happen to you. That's the key word too, is allowed. Are you allowing it to go in? Are you allowing it to control you? again, you have that control.
Yep.
Sure.
Absolutely. It's what, like I get people like reach out to me and, they have, they can't sleep or they're hearing voices or just whatever. But,
Sure.
and I always tell them, you have to take control. Remember, you're the boss. There are exercises, there are things you can do to make yourself the boss. These entities, they're in your home. You're not in theirs. They died a long time ago. They're in yours. So yeah, there's a lot of
the boundaries. And that's where I used to wake up and they would be right there in my face. And I'm like, no, that's not allowed anymore. It's like, this is my space. This is my room. You cannot come in here when I'm sleeping. That is my boundary. Yeah.
Yep. And, I've done private cases where, it wasn't nothing demonic. It wasn't nothing bad, but people are scared. And I get that, go scare people. Something opens up and you're not used to it, or you hear footsteps, that freak people out that's not used to it. And so, a lot of times we can go in and we can be like, hey, well, let's give them the basement or something, we can make rules, like you don't come in my bathroom, you don't come in my bedroom, you leave my kids alone, you leave my animals alone, right. And a lot of times, I feel like when people are good in life, they're good in death. And same thing, if they're bad in life, they're bad in death. So I genuinely like to think most people are good, So a lot of times, I will say probably 90% of the cases that we have done that with, they've obeyed. Like They don't mess with them, they really don't. So yeah, it's just, it's your intention and you're putting it out there. You just have to tell them,
Well, and that's where you're talking about the shadows and, the dark entities and stuff like that. So someone may be looking at it. And for me, I see shadows, but they're not dark. It's not always the negative that's there. It's those dark shadows that are behind that it's like, okay, when they step forward, they lighten up for me. So it just depends on what is going on out there. So just because you see a shadow doesn't mean it's bad. Or if it's dark, it's not always bad. But intuition, you're going to feel when it's bad.
Absolutely. We know that, like House and I were talking about, the other night, like, when I meet someone, you immediately know their character. You know what they are, what kind of person they are, whether you like them or not, or if they're messed up in the head, or if they're a happy-go-lucky person. You know that. People,
Well, it's energy. We all put off that vibe and that energy and just body language. You can look at somebody and see it's like, okay, can I be around them? It's like, nope, that's where when you're doing readings.
I can tell by their scent.
Mm-hmm.
And if I touch them, then I know things about them that I don't want to know.
Yep.
Right.
So I try not to touch a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's where I can look at people and I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to Bigfoot Fidesz says crystals blessed by the blondes would sell quick. Well, I am no way, shape, or form any type of thing to bless anything. So, but on that note, Fidesz, we have kind of talked about with Mary Lynn about starting. We have a blondes merch store, but like I said, we're rebranding. We're getting our new name and things like that. So we will have new merch coming out. We will shirts and whatever else we decide to do. But
and I am a crystal healer, so I do work with crystals.
There you go. There's the blonde that blesses.
Yep.
I work with them as well, but I do different things than you do.
Probably so, yeah, because I think yours is a little bit more on the darker side than mine.
I don't know why you would say that.
Just the feeling I get.
Right?
Yeah, Fidesz says she wants crystals.
Like I said, I can just look at somebody and see.
Yep. Well, we can hopefully make that happen, Fidesz, here soon. And,
that's a good idea, though. I mean, it really is. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So I do like chakras and stuff like that. I do remote and I can help. So if anybody wants to reach out or has any questions, you can reach out to me. I'm on Facebook and I'll be here every Thursday night.
And I will, in fact, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a shameless plug too, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
If you are in any way being contacted, tormented, or harassed, or feel that you have a darkling or an ominous presence that's plaguing you or your household, and you need counseling or some explanation or something of that nature, contact me through the Blondes and Booze, and we'll see if we can't figure out for you and try to help get you around that and navigate through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can also email blondesandbooze@gmail.com. And actually, Mary Lynn, I got to give you and Natalie access to that email. That's one thing I haven't done yet. So I got to write that down. But I did give you access to everything else.
We did, yes.
Stuff. I got to write that down real quick so I don't forget.
So if you don't mind, I don't know how long you want to go with this, but if I'd like to finish
9:30.
Okay, so the story that I'm going to tell you now, I actually was physically present when this happened, and there's going to be believers and there's going to be non-believers, and that's actually in the realm of what I deal with. That's irrelevant because it's not what you believe; it's what believes in you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because just because you have different opinions about different things, if you introduce yourself or what I like to call encounters, if you have encounters with certain things that exist, known and unknown,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter what you believe, because if it believes in you, it becomes your reality.
Yep.
Or more importantly, it becomes that's reality, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's vague, but isn't life kind of vague?
Sure.
It's almost like a stalker.
Exactly. So
No,
You
that's
may not know that it's there, but then sometimes you get a hint that they may be around.
yeah.
right. So I'm in a library, and I'm not going to mention what library it is, okay, because it's irrelevant. I was in a library, and there was an ordained minister had come in, and he had a couple of his parishioners with him, and he picked up a copy of the Necronomicon and he was being completely pompous and disrespectful. He was holding it up to the sky and he was mocking it, and he was reading passages from the Necronomicon, and I can tell you that beyond the shadow of a doubt that is not a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the passages, they tell you at the beginning of the book, do not read these passages aloud. And if you do, know what you're doing, because those passages are verbal openings to portals that you have no idea how to close.
Right.
Okay. And he was doing these things. He was being completely arrogant. And
this is the preacher, the priest guy?
Yeah, this is the priest that's doing this. And
Okay.
he's holding this up, and he's mocking it, and he said these words: "This book cannot touch me because I am a man of God, and that is the power of God." And about 15, 20 seconds later, I literally seen handprints around his throat get depressed and slammed to the ground, his feet being held in an elevated position and his body being forced to the ground, and he was being choked. He was being deprived of oxygen. Multiple people had to grab him and drag him out of the library before it relented. He was actually unconscious. It choked him into unconsciousness. And the point was evident, and I felt this inside of me, the words itself: no one is untouchable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's my point. My point in this very, very graphic story is this: it doesn't matter what you believe. It matters what believes in you.
Mm-hmm.
So be respectful in all things that you do.
Yep. Absolutely. That's what we do. When we go to these locations, we don't allow people to, taunt or anything like that, because you know what, at the end of the day, especially private cases, we get to leave and go home. These people got to live there. They got to deal with it. So if we open up something, a can of worms, and we've just pissed it off, these people are stuck there,
Sure.
So
you also get people who are learning, and they're playing at investigating and going out to help these people and all they're doing is getting it stirred up, and then they disappear. They've got their footage, they've got their laughs, whatever they want to do. Now these people have to deal with that, try to bring somebody else in. So I had a client I worked with. She's turned out to be a really good friend of mine now, but it's like 3 different groups going in to try to help her, and all they wanted to do was get the evidence. Nobody helped her.
Right.
And
Right.
it's
And that's
frustrating.
BS. That is BS. You know, we had one case that we worked with one lady for 5 years until we figured out what the frick it was. And come find out it was an elemental.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, we tried everything, you know, but it was an elemental. So it was 5 years. So when we do a case like that, you know, we stick with you, you know. And I've had people call me in the middle of the night scared to death, you know, clients and stuff. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. You know, because who else do they have to turn to? Like, how many times have you heard when you go to a house, oh, I went to the church and they won't do anything? All the freaking time.
All the time.
Well, a lot of it too is look at the mental state of the people who's having the issues. Are they, you know, is there a mental issue? Is there some, you know, is it domestic? Because we've actually went out, and after we started looking and really asking the questions that should have been asked on the phone, that the people were just having domestic violence, you know, and it was just, there was abuse all around. And it's like, so now this turns into an ethical thing for us. Do we turn it into the police? You know, so it's not always paranormal.
It's not. And unfortunately, you have to know the difference between what is paranormal and what is, like you're saying, domestic abuse or irrationality or some kind of mental illness. You have to know these things.
I even had one lady that said that she had things crawling on her ceiling and, you know, up the walls and stuff, and go into her bathroom as we're investigating. She has a whole cabinet full of medications, and they were psych meds. And it's like
psychotropics. Yeah. The
So,
thing about the dark and the paranormal and the predator and naturals and things of that nature. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Marilyn. They leave a residue. Okay. Mental illness does not leave a residue. So seers, you can generally pick up when you go in, you can generally feel what you feel, and you can, that helps you determine. And it's not always as simple as that, but there's always some kind of residue somewhere.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, absolutely.
You're absolutely correct, Brian. It's more than just a black t-shirt and a logo. Absolutely. Well put, sir. Well put.
Very much so. And that's where, you know, a lot of them, like I said, they go in and it's just so they can start learning. It's like, well, you know, learn with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and not just go in and just trying to play, because you're messing with people's lives.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're messing with your own life.
And, you know, my biggest freaking pet peeve, and whenever I do like a public investigation and I hear people do it, you know, they'll be like, you know, oh, say one of our names in this room, you know, having a ghost box run or something. I'm like, no. We don't do that. It's about them. It's not about us.
Right.
You know, because you're opening, they don't realize. And that's my thing, you know, like I'm here to educate people on this and to do it the right way and the safe way. And, you know, it's just little things like that I did that in the past. Yep. I used to do that. Touch my right leg, you know. No. We don't do that. You know. So it's just
give unlicensed. It's not give unlicensed permission to anything.
Right.
Nope. And that's what I always tell people. Remember, you never get personal about your stuff. It's always about them. Always about them. Never.
Names have power, guys. Names have power.
You made the comment the right way. It's like, so for you, it's the right way here, but for me, it may be different. So it just depends on different styles. So there's not really a true right way for an overall. So it just, what works for you may not work for somebody else. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Because after all, you call it crafting or spelling or whatever you call it, paranormal, omninormal, supernatural, paranatural, preternatural, whatever. It's all personal.
Absolutely. It's all in your personal actions and your personal beliefs and how you see things and how you perceive it. You know, we could both be looking at the exact same thing, hear the same noise, but you hear a different word than I do. You see a different shadow shape than I do. It's going to be how it is presented to you. and how
Sure.
you're able to see it.
The world according to you.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. You know, and
And
some of
that's
that,
when it is about you.
Yeah.
yeah, some of that stuff though is like, I don't know, you know, I just feel like, you know, I was that person who would say, hey, touch my hair or pull my hair or do this or do that. And, you know, that's an invite. And I didn't know that until I started, you know, studying demonology. That I just opened the door. So whatever is there, which we don't know if it's a ghost or something on the darker side or whatever, you know, I just opened that door and allowed that to come to me, you know, so that's
And we
how
talked about that.
yeah,
And
We
that's-
talked
about that. Yeah.
For me, it's like I do open those doors, and it's, you know,
Mhm.
because I want to be able to have that communication for them to be able to be there. But there is a limitation. Is like, okay,
Mhm.
now I've said that you can touch my hair, but no, you can't do that anymore. You have to be able to stop that.
Mhm.
Sure.
Absolutely. And you know, if you look at like somebody like Cindy Kaza, she lets them jump her and she does automatic writing, you know, like you want to talk about dangerous.
It is,
She knows
but
what she's
again,
doing.
that goes back into, again, knowing what you're doing and how you control what's around you and what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
You have to take into consideration, and a lot of people don't understand, the word free will is just words, but it's not really, because it is you as a carbon-based entity. It is your safe. It is your safe haven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even the highest caste of demonic or whatever you want to call it, they have to obey the law of free will. They have to obey that.
Yep. Absolutely. It's crazy. It's crazy how things work out and you don't realize, you know, and you know, new people do join in and they want to come and investigate with us. And I'm all about that, but I like teaching them the safe way and, you know, and let them know, listen, you know, you're going to sit in a room. There's nothing going to happen for a long time. You know, they watch too many TV shows, as we all know, as we all have.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're not
So-
circus monkeys, and they're not going to perform on cue, you know, and that's it's up to them if they want to do it or not.
Yeah.
It depends on the energy in the room. That's why, you know, with us with On Pair with the Normal, Mike is a comedian and he does all these goofy things, but we get responses, even though on our show we're not promoting, you know, showing this is the evidence we got. We do get evidence. We just that's just not part of our show. But it's
And some of them aren't even powerful enough to give it to give responses, and that's what you have to understand.
And you'll see a flicker or something like that, and it's something that they're trying, but they can't.
Yeah, and that was a great effort for them. You know.
Absolutely. I don't know. This whole paranormal world is just, you know, it's a crazy hot mess.
Which brings me back to the darker realm. Again, I have to impress this upon everybody that's in the audience and everybody else out there that may encounter. Impress this upon everybody. When you're dealing with, especially with preternatural, know your limits. Know that however powerful you think you are minuscule compared to that. And be respectful. Always be respectful.
Yeah, there's always something bigger and stronger.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have been slammed many times because I got arrogant. So.
That's the key too, is like the ego, is keep your ego out of it.
Keep it out of it. Yeah, keep it out of it because it will come around and slap you.
Literally.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been choked several times. I've had my hair yanked. I've been scratched. I've been pushed to the ground by a demonic entity. Like, yeah, I've had my.
I was dumped out of my rack I was aboard the USS Constellation, and I got kicked out of my own rack.
Oh,
and
wow.
dumped. Yeah, they pushed me right out of the rack because I was being stupid, being arrogant.
Yeah.
So then you probably deserved it.
Oh, I deserved that and then some. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So tell us more about like you have a lot of things going you're a musician, karate.
Sure.
I mean, you do all kinds of things.
Okay, we'll start with the physical aspects. I'm retired military, and I teach Krav Maga and Sistema. I'm nationally certified in both those. Those are paramilitary martial arts. I can teach you how to go into a room and find at least 50 objects that can be used as weapons. And I do that as a women's self-defense course. I teach women how to enable themselves in their own home and pick up the everyday item and use it as a weapon. And it's about keeping yourself safe in combined environments, not only the home but the street and yeah, hoorah. Thank you. You're very much. You're welcome. Thank you for your support. And that was Castle Rock Paranormal. Mm-hmm. And so I teach those aspects, and it all comes down to one basic element that a lot of people don't even consider. It's about knowing around your environment. And that's the biggest thing you can do to keep yourself safe. If you know where you are, how you got there, how to get away from there, and what's going on in your environment. If you're aware of these situations, it makes the likelihood of an attacker prevailing over you, the odds are more heavily in your favor. Okay.
I would say if you look like a victim, you're going to become a victim.
Exactly. Don't act like a victim. Don't walk like a victim. Don't present yourself as a victim, and you're less likely to become a victim. Exactly right, everyone. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So musician, yeah. My alter ego is called Loud and Rowdy, and I do symphonic metal, outlaw country, and rap and hip hop. I combine all those little genres with a little bit of horror. I combine all those genres, and I write and produce my own music and things of that nature. Krista's heard some.
I have, and I got to tell you, like, he's absolutely amazing. Like, you got to send me more. I need like a whole freaking CD of it, because I did add your songs to my playlist. You sent me 3 of them.
How's that for a shameless little plug?
It's true, though. It's true. I did add you to my playlist. And Castle Rock Paranormal says, and we know them. Brandy and I know Castle Rock. And he says, if you're ever in Tennessee, let us know, House Davis. We respect your approach on this field.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And if I ever get out there, I will definitely look you guys up for sure. And I used to go out to guitar all the time. And Nashville's got an insane music scene, and it's not just country. You've got every genre out there. It's insane.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, your music is absolutely amazing, and you have a beautiful voice singing.
Appreciate that very much. Thank you so much.
I really do.
Thank you.
Yeah, you need to share it more.
Right. Well, I'm working on it, and I've been trying to be real careful, because you get out there and plagiarism is just such a thing. You got to really protect yourself. And
oh yeah.
And with my genre, it's a little bit bending. I kind of bend the rules on the mixing of the genres. You know, they're like outlaw country, horror, and hip hop. How does that work? Right. It works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
thank you, Amy. Yeah.
But
great guest. Excited to see what 4 Blondes and Booze have in store for us.
Right. Yeah. I've heard some of the things you guys to hold on to your butts, because it's getting ready to happen. They're getting ready to do it.
Yep. We are. And the thing is too, you know, like we all go out in the field, and we all go do different things, which is cool. So they all have access to our YouTube channel now. So like I told them, if you're out there, you feel like going live, freaking go live, you know? So if you see Blondes and Booze live, turn on your notifications. That doesn't mean it's going to be me or Brandy now, because we have Mary Lynn and we have Natalie, and they have full access to the channel. So
yeah.
And you never know where we will show up.
Exactly.
But it's still blonde and it's still booze.
That's right. We just dropped the paranormal podcast, because, you know, we started out as podcasting. We had no, you know, I mean, we would do like locations, haunted and stuff like that. But, you know, for the most part, we just did the show. And so we're we've upgraded. We're more than that. You know, we've been going out in the field a lot and stuff. So, you know, it's just
You're a movement. You're a channel and you're a movement. You're a society.
Yeah. So we rebranded and you know, I've had so many people reach out to me like, are you quitting Blondes and Booze when we put the 4 blondes out? I'm like, no, Blondes and Booze is staying, you know. And so Brandy and I, we had a heart to heart this past weekend and talked about the future. And I'm like, hey, I have an idea. Let's take it to Mary Lynn and Natalie. So that's how this all became. And you know, of course, in the tattoo shop, you know, and we were all sober, by the way, every one of us. We were. So
in a sense, what you're saying is you performed a little blood magic there.
We pretty much did, yeah.
We did. We really did. Never looked at it that way.
One, just different colors.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
mine I have teal. Well, here I have teal.
We're all red on the inside.
Yep,
that's right. She has the hot pink.
Hot pink that glows in the dark.
Yep, hot pink that glows in the dark. Brandy has purple, and then Natalie has orange.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's the only thing we did different. So we're all going to be meeting up in Alabama. So we may or may not be doing it again, which I actually did post a video of the one I got a few weeks ago of the Bigfoot. I just posted on Blondes and Booze because y'all like watching people get tattoos. So I posted that on there so you guys can go watch it. So of my latest. Anyway, yeah, the tattoo shop, she says, was blessed by the Crossing Realms conference. It really was, because Sir Brian Bowden, he went and got a tattoo. We had techs in there getting tattoos. Like, yeah.
I think there was about 10 of us that went in, and I actually got 2 of them. So I got the eye as well.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. I'm going to go ahead and try to set up a tattoo shop, and we're just going to call it Paranormal Inc.
There you go.
There you go.
Have you ever done a tattoo before?
Huh?
Have you ever done a tattoo?
Yep, I have. I've actually, this one is mine. So this ink is mine.
Oh, nice.
And my moans, they're on both my hands.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, I have. I've got guns and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a gun as well. I've done a few on a friend.
Yeah.
See,
I'm not ever going to be good enough to go commercial, but I like to play. I like to play with it.
Yep, I hear you. Well, it's my new addiction, and so I'm getting my whole left leg done, and my guy says he'll have it done by May. He's going to do it's all weird stuff. You know, right now I got the dog man down there, and then he's adding like Bigfoot, UFOs, and all kinds of stuff. But then at the very last 2 appointments, he said that he would kind of tie it all in together. And then my right arm, I'm going to do like more family type thing, you know.
Nice.
So I'll be crisscrossed, except for the odd one that's on my right leg.
Right.
That's okay. That's okay. So I appreciate everybody coming in tonight in our chat, and thank you, House, for coming on and hanging with us.
Oh, man, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast being here, and to all the viewers, you guys rock. And your support and everything like that is amazing. And I wish you health, happiness, and success in whatever venture and adventure that you journey on.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. And real quick, I want to thank Mickey G. I want to thank Aaron, our buddy Sir Brian, Werewolf, Bad to the Bone, Keith from 1675. Tell your wife, Lauren, I believe was her name. Hello. She was a lot of fun at the conference. Sir Brian, again, thank you, buddy. And Amy Creel, thank you very much. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Once again, if you did not hear the announcement in the beginning of the show, we have rebranded. We have dropped the Paranormal Podcast to the show, and we have added Mary Lynn and Natalie to the show. So new official blondes. And honest to God, I got to tell you, like me and Brandy, like we've been talking for years. We're never adding another blonde. Never. And look, we freaking added two. So we must like you. We must like you. Let me throw this up real quick. That's the 4 of us now. So yeah, it's cool. And we're glad to have you guys aboard. So anyway.
It was a great first show for us.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So everybody tune in. What is tonight? Thursday. There's nobody doing shows on Friday, but tune in. Saturday, I'm not sure if Donny Cho's doing a show. He's kind of been MIA, but I know BMR will be doing a show, and with Monica for sure. Brandy's sick, and I probably won't be around to do his show. So, but tune in to BMR's. And Mary Lynn, what do you got coming up?
I'm just doing a bunch of editing because, I'm with Lost Goat Productions and stuff. So we have some stuff out there that doing editing, and our next event is actually in December. I'm going down to Houston to do a tour with Crystal Groth from Louisiana Spirits.
Cool.
Nice.
January 31st, I'll be seeing you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's another thing. See us at the Alabama Bigfoot Conference for Relic Films, his premiere for The Vanishing. All 4 of us blondes will be there. Plus, I think he's got a lot of speakers. I think he's got Jessica Jones. He's got Trey Hudson. Of course, Greg Ogles will be there. Adam Davies. I can't think off the top of my head, but I know there's going to be a lot of
doing my intuitive paintings there as well.
Okay. Very cool. So there you go. So come and see us all. And that's January 31st of next year. So we appreciate everybody coming in, and we will see you on the other side.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.